What up, YouTube? I've been away in New York for a week. Played some tournaments up there. Played some good games, which I will share on the channel. In the meantime, I haven't entered those in yet, so in the meantime, I'm going to look at this game David played. Notice this is a 5-0 game. I think this is the last 5-minute game I'm going to analyze, at least for some time, because the quality is just not as good as a slower game, obviously. But opening is good so far. David has a nice space edge. Black, on the other hand, has open doors for his bishops. And here's the first interesting moment. So David just brought his bishop here last move. So it's kind of counterintuitive to move it again here. But in this case, Black's weakened himself on the light squares. And White can get a nice initiative. For instance, he can... well, first, this pawn's attacked 3 times and only defended once. So we want to take this. And now Black has a choice. He can either open up the center towards his king, or he can just get in a losing position, like so. Already there's a lot of pressure here. Black goes back, and we can almost stop here. You see both the bishops are pinned. If Black tries to defend and get castled already, he's losing at least a piece. And what is now the only piece defending this knight is the queen. So, yeah, and if he takes with the bishop, it's a similar situation. We can just chop off this bishop after pawn takes. Yeah, engine says don't even jump in here right away. Just castle first. Maybe harass Black on the e file. This move is probably good too. Oh, strangely not as good. Assume here. Queen e2. Oh, yeah. Taking advantage of the e file. And this is also great for White. So he'd probably just take with the pawn. But we can just put a lot of pressure on him here. Knight takes, Queen g4. Hitting this twice, preventing castling. Otherwise he's losing a piece. And yeah, so this is just obviously not what Black wants. The king is now permanently stuck in the center because the square is covered, and White has a great position. So David played e5. Oops. Again, this move, bishop to b4 check, would have been better. Just really punishing Black for not finishing his development, let's say bishop e7 or bishop b4. It's kind of like a Nimzo Indian, Queen's Indian style. Probably bishop e7 is also fine, not quite as good. Yeah, instead lashing out with d5 was not correct. Instead David kicks the knight. It's fine, he still has a nice space advantage. I probably should have jumped in here because this knight is defended twice. Instead he backed up, and here David castles. Knight g4 is interesting. Let's see, I'm trying to remember. I did look at this game before making this video. That's actually my 4th or 5th take. Why is this so strong? If he just kicks it, Black's just asking for trouble here. And if he just tries to calmly develop and get castled, similar. Black is crashing through. Or if he's not crashing through, he's at least keeping Black from castling. And Black is kind of discombobulated on the queen side. He's not really going to be able to castle queen side anytime soon either. So that would have been good. Another move I might have played instead of knight g5. Also bishop g5 looks pretty good. Definitely not as strong according to the engine as knight g5, but the point is if Black trades bishops, his dark squares are really weak. And here he's going to lose, probably going to lose at least the exchange. Notice this check is threatened winning the bishop, and also everyone's favorite king and rook fork is threatened. And it's very hard for Black to stop that. If he tries something like this, knight to d6 anyway, say bishop here. It's totally dominating. It's hard to see how we're winning anything right away, but for example, Engine recommends a6 is the best move, and then we have a cute tactic with knight to g5, hitting this twice, and queen takes, queen's lost. So it's always important to look for these tactical resources, and this is why tactical and positional chess go hand in hand. It's a tactical resource. Ganging up on this pawn, and yeah, black is just really all bound up here. We can hit the rook, come back. Next we can maybe bring the queen out to g4, start pushing the h-pawn, maybe even lift the rook, bring it over. Or he could castle and play f4. I mean, this is a fantastic position for white. So, but David just routinely castled, which also keeps a big edge for white. Bishop e7. a3 is I'm not really sure what's up with a3. This is kind of almost the end of the opening, start of the middle game. It's hard to have a plan. Sometimes the dark squared bishop in the c3 Sicilian, you're not quite sure where to put it. Engine recommends knight b5, and if castles, just continue developing bishop f4. If ever a6, assume we're going in here. This is kind of similar to the game. So a3, black develops his last minor piece, and David does play knight b5, a6, and knight into d6. Now this is a double-edged position. We have to be careful of this pawn after bishop takes, pawn takes. This is a great pawn, Alapin, black's grill. But if we lose the pawn, then we're just a pawn down for nothing. Not quite nothing, because this is a bad bishop, and the dark squared bishop, which took our knight, is the black's good bishop. But we have to maintain this pawn. Otherwise we're a pawn down, and black probably has compensation. b5 just doesn't look right. Notice almost every single pawn of black's, except the g pawn, is on a light square. Rook e1 was played. Who knows, maybe we'll get some tactics on this pawn somehow. Now the bishop and queen are lined up on this diagonal. Black's king's not castles. Knight f6. And here's David's first blunder of the game, I would say. And again, this is a blitz game, so I hesitate to criticize too much. But again, this is my job to criticize. So I don't think I'll be analyzing any more blitz games unless they're very exceptional. Yeah, knight e5 is just losing the d pawn. Somehow the engine still is giving white some chances. Maybe because after this we have bishop f5 with a typical trick of knight here discovering an attack on the rook. Queen goes back. Bishop takes. Bishop e. Rook e3. Okay, so here David would have been a pawn down, but with two bishops, potential for a kingside attack should black castle kingside. Basically, white has much better king safety. So, but instead here David just trades and gives away almost all of his advantage. I wonder why the jump. And g3, I suppose he wants to get this move in. And insane. Queen f3 with a similar idea, but without weakening the kingside pawns. And white has compensation, but again he's a pawn down. Here queen g4 would have been interesting, triple attacking here and attacking this weak pawn, inducing black to want a castle, at which point probably bishop to h6 would have been good. Instead he goes ahead with his plan, attacking the queen. It helps to be flexible if your opponent makes a bad move. The nice thing is this bishop f4 can always be held in reserve. And this queen is not really So amazingly placed. But okay, bishop b4. And goes back to e7. Can't criticize rook to the open file. Ah, yeah, this is good. Black is going to have to defend this way, otherwise what happened in the game happened. So now white should be totally smashing. We're getting a bishop. It's another terrible move. Here's a mistake David made. I guess he was worried about the square, but we can see how many pieces that white has defending. So this is a skewer, but we have to be careful about this. Only one place to go. But now it's the follow-up. You'll notice this pawn is also very weak. Yeah, and this queen is not really almost trapped, but the problem is the doubling of the rooks on the 7th. For instance, queen d2, trying to trade queens. Oh, this is the engine line. You can actually look at this line. Yeah, losing the rook, so I don't think most humans would just lose the rook like that. They'd probably play something like rook, maybe rook f8 is defending this pawn. So rook f1. And yeah, if the queen goes pawn munching, yeah, queen a5, pinning this pawn, it's triple attacked. Black's probably going to get mated. So yeah, it's important to a lot of times the best move is actually to give up a pawn with check. But when there's no follow-up, there's no follow-up. And yeah, in this position, black has a rook hanging. Yeah, he's a piece up. He's attacking the king. Looks like black 2 is attacking the king, but there's really nothing. There's nothing cute. You can play bishop takes, or probably pawn takes is also fine. And you know, black doesn't have time for anything too cute because we're kicking the queen away. So instead, David does this, which is clearly inferior because we're going to lose this pawn in this line too. Although black does not. Let me get rid of this blue. Black does not take the rook. He comes up, then hits the king again, and goes back to e8. So now he can't castle. And here we can just take the knight. If white takes this one, we can take on d5. And again, we're a piece up with an attack. So instead, oh, David does do that. Engine's now saying rook takes is even stronger. With these raking bishops, like indirectly hitting both the rooks. Okay. But I'm not going to criticize this move. And here bishop takes e6 would have been cute. We just have to remember about this diagonal. This is important. You know, me telling David not to play blitz is not going to make him not play blitz. I mean, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I play plenty of blitz myself, although I'm trying to abstain for the next couple months at least. But yeah, we always have to remember, obviously, queen can't take. And here is pretty much forced mate. Queen has a lot of mobility along here. If g8, this is cute. But bishop c6 is also good. David tries to open up the center. Yeah, maybe now it's saying bishop. Yeah, well, this bishop's attacked, so we gotta be a little careful. h5, this makes sense, preventing the queen from coming here. And here David blunders his queen. And yeah, gets mated, so that's kind of sad. I don't know how much time he had left, maybe just a few seconds here. I mean, this could happen to almost anybody, even a IM or GM, if they have just seconds left. But here we're attacking the rook. And this is why, I mean, really, attack, endgame, tactics, winning a one game, defending your heart out in a losing game. This is really what chess is all about. When you're playing blitz, and you have 10 seconds left with no increment at the end of the game, you just can't do that. So I'm going to, once again, strongly recommend to David to not play any more blitz or limit himself to 1 or 2 games a day and just analyze them on his own for basic tactics, because I think he'll get a lot more out of me analyzing his longer games. And I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, so feel free to stalk my Lee Chess account, NARZ, and see if I'm playing any blitz myself. I'm very tempted to play bullet because my bullet rating is very low. I went on a huge binge and lost like 200 points, but I'm just going to leave it alone because who cares about bullet rating? Anyway, I hope you got something out of this video, and I will see you again soon analyzing some tournament games of mine and David's. Thanks for watching.